Hello, welcome to this video. Thank you so much for tuning in, sharing in this now moment with myself and with one another. If you haven't seen these videos before, welcome back if you have. My intention is unity and oneness. I want to just dive into a little flow with the guides and just kind of see what they have to share about some of the energies that are kind of floating all around us and what a lot of us are kind of, whatever might be helpful for the collective right now. So, a couple of synchronicities I also want to share. I did some videos and I can't post them for whatever reason. I'm having permanent Mercury retrograde issues. But one of the things that they keep sharing is just how important it is to play and be playful. And that a lot of the energies that are coming in right now that people are asking for. And just let me just back up. If you haven't seen these videos before, welcome back if you have. Um, I am a channel intuitive. I do intuitive healing and intuitive readings for people. I connect in with loved ones on the other side. I teach Pilates and yoga, breath work, meditation. I'm a Reiki master. So that's just my background on what I do. And I just kind of have a little toolbox that I like to share with you guys so that you can add it to your own tools, your own toolbox. And from my perspective, when I go into this flow with the guides, or even when I'm doing sessions with people and their guides come through, or I get in messages from someone's higher self or whatever it might be, the playfulness thing has come up over and over again because that ability for us just to lighten up and be in that space on a more consistent average is part of how we're able to listen and receive the downloads and activations that so many people are asking for. There's a lot of people that are asking for change in their lives and asking for abundance and good health and other things. And then they aren't listening when that comes through or an opportunity shows up for them because they're in a place of self-doubt. And the guide said the other day that oftentimes they're encouraging us to be in a place of self-inquiry but recognize our frequency when we're in that space. As a for instance, we might be asking questions like, you know, why isn't this happening to me? Or why is this happening to me? Or what did I do wrong, right, to deserve this? That's self-inquiry. But that is not the type of self-inquiry that they're encouraging us to have. They're encouraging us to be playful with it and just be like, what could I do today to feel better, to feel good, to have fun? What would be just one thing that today would make me feel better? And it could be just going to the store and buying some flowers or going out into the woods and picking some flowers. It could be, reaching out to someone we haven't talked to in a while that would really just make us feel connected. It could be something little. And the more often we're doing these little moments and feeling that energy, the more consistently our frequency allows us to hold um, those downloads, activations. That's when we receive what we're asking for. But a lot of people are so in the habit of denying themselves. I can't do this because, and I'm just as guilty. I do it myself. I catch myself doing it. I think I'm going to have a day to myself, and then I end up doing things for everybody else. And it's not about being selfish. It's about allowing ourselves to relax enough to receive the codes and energies and ahas that are kind of floating around in the ethers, ready for us to hear, to see, to feel. And it is a lot about feeling, right? Feeling those gifts, feeling our emotions, recognizing when we haven't been giving ourselves the time and attention that we need in order to be balanced and so on and so forth. Okay, so I'm actually going to move down a little bit and go from here, sitting on the floor. It just felt like the right place to sit while I'm doing this channeling. And I got my little guy right back here joining us. Okay. It's meant to be felt, not necessarily understood on a linear basis. And so I'm being invited to share what I feel when I channel. It's not so different than what I feel when I don't channel. Although when I first started doing this, it was a huge difference. Um, Also, I'm being called to share what it feels like is my sinuses open up a little bit. My head gets a little lighter. My chest feels more open. Um, the breath comes easier. I feel just lighter in general. And this is an example that we are sharing with everyone else to be aware of. For as we tune in, this team of energies and beings who are all around us, who are moving through the ethers in a variety of wave forms and light codes, we are sharing in this soup, if you will, that we are all embedded and connected in and through. And many people are receiving energy, messages, downloads, ahas, frequencies that seem like they are outside of themselves. Or we would also venture to say that some people seem or feel that these messages, downloads, activations are unachievable, for they have not received them as of yet. But it isn't that these people who don't feel as if they're receiving anything haven't received anything. They just aren't aware of what they've been receiving and where it's been coming from. So we'll play with this for a moment. We are inviting you to not seek the messages from outside of you. You are a channel. You are attuned to frequencies and energies that are part of the system that you are attuned to. And so this is where the playfulness tune comes into play for those who are seeking to line up with messages in this way. And it doesn't have to be in a channeled sort of way or in a waveform that looks like this. It can be just as simple as working on a creative project and getting the information that we've been asking for, the beautiful artwork that flows into our imagination from seemingly nowhere, the synchronicities that line up for us that show us the guidance that we've been asking for, the conversations that are had or listened to or shared within these moments of synchronous lineups that we wouldn't necessarily recognize were being had if we weren't aware of them. And the awareness comes in the openness, in the asking. The awareness comes in the receptivity, and playfulness allows and assists us in receptively receiving and interacting in a conscious way with these synchronicities and frequencies that are part of our ongoing reality and connection with the divine. And this seems so simple. The simplicity is key. The key is in the simplicity. For many people are overcomplicating things. They think that in order to hear their intuition, it must come from outer space. In order to hear their guides, it must come laced with song and dance or light rainbows flowing in and unicorns dancing around and shifting our awareness into this angelic realm. Yet the angelic realm is already part of your own existence. You are not separate from the realm of the angels, the angles, the waveforms that communicate through different frequencies beyond time. You are waveforms that communicate with frequencies through frequency as frequency beyond time. And so the more you can feel into the expansiveness that you already are, the more those waveforms, patterns, sounds, feelings, messages will appear for you to work with, for you to understand, for you to interpret, for you to share, for you to um, merge with. We are encouraging and inviting everyone to merge with these higher templates of the human existence in this form now, through the form that is the physical, that allows you to birth into the physical reality, the higher dimensional frameworks of the new realities that are beyond the lower dimensional fields of existence that we have all been operating within for long enough. We are being invited to be that waveform of the angelic frequencies that many are seeking answers from. We invite you to feel into these frequencies and recognize these answers come from you. You must hear them in order to feel and interpret, or you must feel them in order to hear them, or you must feel into the frequency that you already have access to, that is within you, in order to allow yourself to open to the, I'm hearing brighter, abundant, joyful, so on and so forth, energies that are abundant within your field. So as I'm sharing this, you guys, I'm seeing a couple of things, and I want to just interject, if I may. When I'm tuning into the angelic realms, if we wish to label it as such, I don't necessarily see, I mean, I've seen entities and beings as I've gone through this journey, and I continue to see entities and beings in my mind's eye, um, and even in the physical at times. But more often than not, I see light. I see color, frequency. It's a feeling. You can sense when you have this angelic presence with you. And with the guides, angels, galactics, higher dimensional, heart centered frequency, love, light beings that spin a certain frequency or sound that allows us to then blend and merge with that frequency and energy as a physical being, connecting to these non-physical realms, it doesn't work the way we think it does. And that's what the guides keep saying is get out of our heads about it and yet still remain in the body to anchor these frequencies into this reality. I know I just went off on 3 different tangents there. Notice if you see sparkles. Notice if you see little blue bubbles floating around. It happens. Some people have this gift, and it's much stronger than others. There's people that can see these energies and beings or read auras, and that's just they have more of that. I don't know if it's clairvoyant that allows you to see auras, but other people you can hear it. Other people you can feel it. So we all have stronger senses. But the guides are like, you're not going to sense it if you're not relaxed, if you're not allowing yourself, if you're not asking, or if you're asking and you're looking for things showing up in a particular form. Like if you're asking for Archangel such and such, and you're expecting to see this Archangel to look like this, they might look or appear or show up in a different form, in part because that other form was easier for them to present to you, if that makes sense. Also, it might be what you needed more so than seeing this angelic being. Although I know it would be cool to have that happen, and it's not to say that it doesn't, but recognize that they come in all forms and patterns, and they don't necessarily show up the way we think they do. And so, this brief message is just to help you fine tune your own instrument, AKA your body, your feeling, and your senses, so that you can recognize the instruments that are here for you to play with at your disposal. So you can create a symphony based on the energy that you are seeking to play with, to interact with, to combine with, to co create with. These higher dimensions, these higher spaces of existence, these higher dimensional beings that tend to group within these higher realms are already around you. There is no separation. They do not exist in another sector, if you will, of the planet, for they are a part of the planet and all planets to some extent. Shuye akawa eri akuni shikai ma a ishinukwa. We invite you to feel into these other realms from the realm that you exist within now. For when you do this, it allows you to feel into more of what you already are. Too many people are asking for someone else or something else or some other time or some other group or some other being to make the changes for them, to show up so that they can believe, to show up a certain way or present to them a particular outcome, and then they will decide from there. We invite you to decide now in the moment, the movement, the breath, in the space of trust, of trusting in your own divine presence, of feeling into the human experience with compassion and love. Allow that to be motivation enough to create from that space of love. This allows you to then see, feel, and map into the greater realms. And in some cases, there will be those who will, the opposite will come first. They will have something happen that jolts them into, I'm hearing out of sleeper syndrome and into reality that already brings them into a higher spatial reference, such as a near death experience or a dream in which you connect with loved ones. And this is happening for many people already. And yet, those people too can shut this down through disbelief, through lack of coherence, through being in a state of denial or fear, from lack of receptivity, from going back to the old where they feel more familiar, one might say. So we invite you to play. We invite you to do whatever you do best and let go of all the rest. It doesn't mean to quit your job or to run away from um, certain moments in your life that are difficult. Instead, we invite you to be in those moments with the fullest of feeling, the fullest of expression. And we invite you to unfold in those moments and feel into the magic of those moments, the synchronicities, the laughter, the tears, the physicality, the fears, to feel into all of that and allow yourself to rise to greater heights, to feel taller, to feel into the realms that are already here now, to feel into the expansiveness and the freedom that you have access to now and trust in that movement. This allows you to move into the higher realms, to see things from a different perspective, to maintain a coherent directive that allows you to frequently access these domains. And therefore, the frequency of those domains becomes part of your regular resonance and therefore regular residence. And when you begin to feel at home in your own body, feeling at home in your, um, mm, I'm hearing thought forms, subtleties, feelings, ahas, just feeling, letting go of these other patterns and thought forms that are less resilient, that are less truthful. For the fears and belief systems that many are seeking to climb out of with the help of someone else is rampant at this time. And yet you must help yourself first. There are all kinds of helpers all around us now that are reaching out their hands, physical, human, and non-human. But you must open to that help. You must allow yourself to feel the redeeming qualities of affection, self-love, of appreciation, of how far we've come as a collective. I'm being shown like there's a lot of people just being really hard on themselves right now and being really hard on other people. And just how that is actually causing what I'm hearing is a deflation, like, just this like a balloon losing its air. But it's sometimes we need that to just, I'm being shown so that we can get to a space where we just, it's like a humble gratitude for just being alive. So I'm going to kind of end on that note. I'm just feeling into this and seeing if there's anything else that wants to come through. One more thing. And the key was what I just said. I'm just feeling into the openness to see if more wants to come through. Feeling into that openness and not closing ourselves into an overthinking, overly critical, overly judgmental space is so important right now. Well, always, but especially with what we're witnessing going on, it's easy to lose faith in humanity when we're dialed into those beings who have lost faith in themselves or are only feeding their ego because they are in fear of not being liked, of not being respected, of not being appreciated, of not having money, of not this, of not that. What that does is it just feeds that one particular realm, reality, whatever it might be. And what I'm being shown is, believe it or not, everyone has guides and angels, even the people who are in ego. So stop worrying about them and get back on track with, where am I going? How does this feel? What am I transitioning through right now? Wow, just being in, I'm hearing reverie of our own growth, of our own life experiences, being in reverie of the people around us and what they're going through. There's a lot of people that are in it. And when we start to kind of see each other as humans that are really, going through life, it becomes less, we have to laugh at ourselves a little bit, right? I'm just hearing laugh, laugh, laugh. Laughter is the best medicine. So I'm going to end on that note. In love and light, you guys, I just want to share, it's been challenging at certain times in my life too. So I share this with you guys in hopes that, in the realization that everybody goes through stuff. And even when you're at a stage where you have angels talking with you and you're doing energy work and it's amazing, that doesn't mean, oh, I'm being called to talk about this briefly. That doesn't mean all the other stuff just goes away and disappears. And this is another message that's coming through. A lot of people think that once you get to this dimension, everything's fine. That's not how I see it. Doesn't work that way, but that's my perspective. So a lot of people, it's, what I'm hearing is let go of those expectations, because what happens is we keep looking for this other dimension to land, this angel to show up, this being to, and it never happens. So we've got a lot of people that are just like constantly deflated. And so they're just saying, get back into our own, be our own sense of what can we do? And that other stuff will come. That other stuff will show up. That other stuff will appear to us because we aren't so focused on the lack of it not being there, of it not looking the way we want it to look. So it's like that's pushing it away, kind of blocking it is what I'm hearing. So in love and light, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for sharing these videos. Thank you for liking these videos. I appreciate you. Namaste.